Hello and welcome to the next episode of Two Girls Talk Transits. Today we're reviewing the astrology from June 21st through the 27th, and we're your host. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Kaylee.
So we're back with a new week, and this is the summer solstice week on the 21st of June, which is Sunday. The sun officially enters into Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Longest day of the year, yay, shortest night. You know, kind of that moment of really just the center of our solar year, but also, yeah, the sun is now in Cancer, and we are deep into Cancer season and the official start of summer. And so, as always with Cancer season, it's a time of more emotional reflection. It is still a cardinal sign, so I do like keep that in mind because Cancer still do things and it's still a very active sign that likes to start things. But it is more about like starting things or beginning things around your own comfort and your security and like what it means for you to like be at home in your body and like your nervous system. So it's like prioritizing, that's why you hear Cancer associated with the house or the home or the family a lot because that is a source of like comfort and security for people. But if that's not something for you, it's like prioritizing where that is. So like in the charts of Leo risings, that's our 12th house. So it's like our alone time gets more brought up and like what does it mean to have more comfort in our mind and with our mental space.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but emotional, more watery, more feely, more about like tending to that nurturance expression. How do you feel?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we're going to feel the shift from the sun being in Gemini to the sun being in Cancer. I think sometimes the sun is like very representational of like our general awareness. Like I think kind of the sun and Mercury can share those qualities. But when we're moving from like an air awareness, I think we're just moving from a space where we're like taking in more like factual information when the sun was in Gemini to more emotional information, like you had mentioned, with the sun being in Cancer. Um, and with like, the sun being in Cancer, Mercury being in Cancer, and then Jupiter being at like the final degrees of Cancer. I think the moon is like super important to pay attention to during this time and like the transits of the
Mhm.
moon, and how the moon is like aspecting different planets in your chart because that's just going to like key you in to some different shifts that are happening and maybe just give you a little bit of foresight if you look like ahead because Cancer can be very much um up and down with its emotions because of how fast the moon moves. So I would just expect, like, if you feel like one day you feel like this, and then the next day you feel fine, and then one day you're like, oh my God, the world's ending, like, it could very much be representational of just like the shifts that are happening with the moon. So I think that's important just to like realize your emotions can kind of be up and down.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, for example, in this on Sunday, probably Sunday, Monday, maybe a little bit into Tuesday, the moon will be in Libra. And that will
Hmm.
be more fun and more social, especially with Venus being in Leo. And so there's a little bit of that, like more emotional fulfillment through social interactions or from beauty or for just feeling more loved by people. But then that immediate whiplash when the moon does enter into Scorpio and things get way more intense and way more deep or serious or like darker and more emotional things coming up that are not light and airy. And you'll just kind of notice that more with the sun being in Cancer right now.
Yeah, for sure. I think that would definitely make a lot of sense. At least like the first couple days we have that nice moon in Libra like you mentioned. So I think
Hmm.
that's kind of like some kind of padding for the transition, like won't be too, it would be different if like the moon were immediately in Scorpio. You'd be like maybe kind of slapped in the face by like intense emotions when the sun moves into Cancer.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's generally how that happens.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else about that one?
No, we can move on.
Okay. Let's see here. So the next one we have is on the 24th, which is actually in 3 days. So this transit was on Sunday, and then the 24th is on Wednesday. We have Venus trining Saturn, and the only thing we have in between those days is just like the moon in Libra, like we mentioned, but then the moon is also fresh into Scorpio here on that Wednesday. I think it'll probably come in the night before, um, and then transition into Scorpio. So yeah, Venus in, where's Venus? Leo will trine Saturn in Aries. So this is a nice little aspect. I think it's cute. I think it very much kind of like solidifies whatever blessings are coming in with Venus in Leo. It's giving more like concreteness to whatever some good things coming in are, and even like allows you to make like more solid plans, or if you have any like upgrades that you want to do or things that you want to like glamorize, or and I say glamorize because Leo, Venus is in Leo. It's very much about like glamour and beauty and making things look really nice. If you have anything like that that you're wanting to do in any part of your life, wherever Leo rules, I think Saturn comes in here to support that and to solidify it and to like bring it into reality. So let's say, for example, like Venus were transiting your sixth house. Maybe what would happen is you would be able to like solidify like some kind of workout routine or some sort of like health thing, or maybe, some plans that you have for work would come in and be like solidified on this day. So, yeah, that's kind of what I see. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's like if you've been moving through Venus and Leo and getting more clear about who you are and how you want to represent yourself and how you want to show up or what you want to beautify about your body, like Saturn maybe makes that commitment. Maybe you do, Saturn's kind of permanent, so maybe you do like, a piercing or tattoo, or you like make a real plan on something that you're changing about a desire and you commit to a plan, you commit to a person. But I also think that Venus is also helping Saturn in this case. Like, I think since Saturn moved into Aries in February, we haven't had any trines to Saturn actually, besides the moon, uh, because we've had all the planets in like Aquarius basically when that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's been a lot of heavier Saturn influence in our life of like Saturn and Aries. I mean, Saturn and Aries has been heavy for me. Like, I've just gone through a lot of changes I did not expect to go through and have been really limited in a lot of things that I usually do in my Aries space. And like, I wonder if this Venus trining Saturn is going to make that better, like make you realize why this is paused for you, or like realize why this is going way slower for you and maybe appreciating the process more, or just having more ease and acceptance with it, like Venus being like, okay, this part of my life is going slower. I'm accepting that. So now I can focus on this trying. Like for me, literally in my ninth house, I mean, I feel like I could talk about it on here. Like, obviously, I pulled back a lot from astrology in general. I'm still doing this podcast, but like, I can't get on TikTok anymore. I just cannot do those videos that I used to do. Like, I don't know. I just like Saturn and Aries in my ninth house. It's like you're not doing astrology like you used to anymore. I don't know what to tell you. And obviously, other things are happening in my life that are demanding my attention anyway. And so I could see like Venus moving through my first house, finally trining Saturn, being like me kind of just accepting this temporary decrease of this like astrology identity and realizing, oh, I'm building this or I'm structuring this instead, or it's just some sort of thing that like makes that loss that I've experienced. I think night charts probably experience Saturn as loss more than day charts probably
Mm-hmm.
experience as a structure,
Mm-hmm.
So like I experience loss of that loss that's happening as easier, more platable, or just more understandable. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, that's a really good point. I actually really like that interpretation. Like, being able to look at Saturn's limitations with like a lens of acceptance. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because Saturn is like, I mean, like you said, night charts have a worse experience than day charts, but Saturn is not there to like withhold just for the purpose of like, F you, like I hate
Mm-hmm.
you. It's more so like it wants you to grow in whatever area it's like transiting through or whatever it's limiting. And it wants you to do things with a lot of structure, a lot of discipline, a lot of like plans and things like this. And you're not going to like get the rewards until later. So, like you said, like Venus coming in here trining Saturn could be like, hey, like, this is why I'm doing this or whatever. And you
Hmm.
just being like, okay, cool. Like I can deal with that for now. And yeah, just living your life.
Yeah, it's just kind of having more acceptance to like kind of just Saturn and Aries in general, though, for
Mhm.
everybody, like wherever that's because I feel like a lot of people have gone through a lot of things this spring. Honestly, I mean, like all of my friends have gone through some kind of bigger transitions or changes in their lives, and I think a lot of that is Saturn and Aries for everybody, just hitting a different part of our charts, right? And so I
Right.
think this is just allowing that to like be more open, aware, and accepting of it.
Yeah, because of course, like Saturn and Aries, like you're going to be pissed off about it because it's ruled by Mars, and nobody likes
Yeah.
to be like limited in a place that normally goes fast. So,
Yes.
yeah, I could see that for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's not like the best blessing of a day. It can be a somber day, but I think it can be like an acceptance or like a realization of what you're structuring and building, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Agreed.
So then on the next day, the 25th, which will be Thursday, the sun fresh into Cancer is going to square Neptune. Yeah, so the delusion kind of strikes again a bit. The moon is also still in Scorpio, opposite Mars coming into that evening, I guess. So
Mm-hmm.
that's spicy. So, maybe just some like frustrations if you are wanting to do something or create something, you run into confusion. There's not like a clear plan anymore. The plan that you made is not like defined in all its parameters, and everyone's just kind of being lost, and it's annoying, and there's no clear communication or clear understanding. I think like our sun is our awareness and understanding. You're just not able to like grasp what's happening or the problem maybe. And with the moon opposite Mars, yeah, just like the inherent frustration of those limitations or like because if you're confused, it can be really annoying. Like
It is
it can
annoying,
cause a
yeah.
lot of anger for people. If you don't understand what's going on, you just start to lash out. That can be a manifestation of this interaction. I don't know. How do
Yeah.
you see it?
Yeah, I see it really similarly. I think it's more like, you know, there's just general confusion about how you feel about things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you've gotten this awareness about your emotions, and now, we're having a square because it's these cardinal planets coming into aspect. So it's like, where do I go from here? Like, I don't know where to go, and that's like that moon opposite Mars too. Like, I don't know what to do with this information. I don't know what action to take. I feel like I have to do something. But
Mm-hmm.
what that something is on this day is probably going to be unclear and like you said, cause that frustration. Like, what the heck is going on? And I think on this day in general, like it's just you're gonna have to be okay with not knowing what to do. Like that it doesn't seem
Yeah.
like there's like a clear like answer at this very moment. So it's just like sitting with I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's like clearly you're trying to take some sort of action on something or start something, but you don't, yeah, like you said, you don't really know what direction that is,
Right.
and it's just uncomfortable. And that, yeah, I mean, that's Cancer season. A lot of people want to start something in the summer, kids are out of school, let's start summer plans, or like, let's start this for the summer. And that's like, could be this moment where you're like, I don't know what I'm
Yeah,
doing.
I know. Yeah.
But,
It's like
but
confusing. Yeah.
yeah, so just don't use this day to make commitments is basically the thing. Like you can go through
Yeah.
this day and like just be confused and that's fine, but just don't use this day to like solidify plans or something.
Yeah, or like trying to like search for like concrete answers. I'm not sure if that's like
Yeah.
gonna happen. Like it's just gonna be one of those days where you're like I have no freaking clue and just whatever. I mean, it'll pass. You'll go into the next day, and eventually you'll have clarity.
One day.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, you will. You'll
Just
get there.
not
You'll get
this
there.
day. Yeah.
Just not this day.
Yeah. Cool. And then our last transit is on the 27th. So the 27th is on a Saturday, and Mars at its final degrees of Taurus will make a short little sextile to Jupiter in Cancer. So Jupiter in Cancer is also at its final degrees. So I think this can be kind of symbolic of like, since both of these planets are in these final degrees, it's like, what are you going to do with everything that we've gathered, through the Jupiter and Cancer transit? How are you going to use all of this information that you've gathered, use all of these blessings that you've had to devise some sort of plan? Um, or just like act differently, decide to move differently, decide to make different decisions, things like this, because the planet that controls like decision making and action and whatever you decide to do with your daily life is Mars, and it's going to shift over into Gemini. So you have a chance to be mutable then. You have a chance to change how you respond to things and change how you decide to handle things. And because it's moving from that, fixed place in Taurus to that mutability. So there's like this big air of change coming up. So I think it's more so of like, what did I learn? Where do I want to go in the future? And how am I going to change my actions based off of that?
Yeah, I like that a lot because there's something really final about this aspect with both like also we
Hmm.
won't get Jupiter and Cancer again for another 12 years and we'll have Mars and Taurus much shorter than that, but like there's this moment where these two really do interact and there is some linkage also between these like two places in your life because Jupiter has been expanding Cancer for the past year since the June of 2025. So like in a way there's linkage already between Cancer and Taurus anyways because they both have the moon associated with it, Cancer being ruled by the moon and Taurus is the place of the moon's exaltation.
Hmm.
And so it is kind of like this last Mars thing where you take like maybe one more action in this area of your life, or you take like one more big push, or one more risk, or one more change, or just maybe you realize how everything has changed with this Jupiter and Cancer transit. Because yeah, we had an exalted Jupiter and Cancer for a whole year. Like I felt it, like I felt like a lot of things expand not only in my 12th house, but also in my fifth and eighth, where Jupiter rule. And part of that has translated to change in my Taurus house as well. So it's like all coming to this big kind of crescendo. So this may be a day where you just take like one more action or one more like appreciation for that. But it can be like this can be a really fun day where it's just like there's support, there's action, you
Hmm.
feel really expansive, and you feel really confident. I don't think Taurus or Mars and Taurus has been that confident, so this could be one more confident thing you get a little boost in.
I think so too. Yeah. I think it's a nice like little goodbye to like both signs.
Yeah.
Or I mean both planets, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm definitely interested to see like when Jupiter pops over, it'll be next week, but when Jupiter pops over, just like that difference between like how the Cancer house is gonna feel. So I think
Yeah.
this is like kind of like a visceral goodbye, like very, something that you can feel too.
Yeah, and you never know. Like sometimes when planets are like right at this critical 29th degree, it's like they already can see the other side. Like they can already see like what it's gonna feel like to have Mars and Gemini and Jupiter and Leo. And so you
Mm-hmm.
may be like kind of like on this day, like thinking more forward or thinking more about like that kind of feeling of like what's next and like how am I going to expand? Because that is true. Like on this day too, like both of these planets will be shifting next week and they'll be shifting to active signs, so fire and air. And so you may can also be feeling that today where you're like, I am gonna start ramping up my life a little bit more. Like I'm not expanding the passive things. I'm going to expand my own energy.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point. It'll be cool for you too when Jupiter goes over into Leo. It's like I'm sure you'll be glad to say goodbye to Jupiter and Cancer. I mean, like,
Yeah,
although it's like exalted in your 12th, I just remember like in my 12th, I was really isolated when Jupiter wasn't there. So,
yeah, I just feel like we just had so many things happening in Cancer because before Jupiter was in Cancer, we had that long Mars retrograde in Cancer, you
yeah.
remember?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like I'm ready for just yeah, Cancer to just be
Chill.
empty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
But Mars will be in Cancer not like this fall, so it's just like doesn't matter.
Oh, that's very true. I know upcoming.
Yeah, but it's okay. We'll get a break for a little bit. So I know it'll
Yeah,
be interesting to see it,
for
something
sure.
different for all of us, honestly. So yeah, we will end this week like on this cliffhanger because everything is going to change next week.
Mm-hmm. It will. It definitely will.
And it's gonna be kind of a crazy change. Uranus is gonna get activated again. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is your last kind of quieter week, really. So enjoy it.
Yeah. Have a good one.
I mean, if you want more content from us, we're mostly just on YouTube at Two Girls Talk Transits. Our personal information is linked below, and we will see y'all next week.
See you.
Bye.